Oh,
Okay, then we're streaming, and I'll call us into order at 5 o'clock. And modifications or additions to agenda?
well, President Everett, there are two. The first is there are corrected meeting minutes for the October 20th meeting.
Okay,
And prior to the consent action, Genevieve will show you the changes. They're minimal, but one is significant. There was not a reference to the commission decision about the X62 agreement.
okay.
And then second, staff would recommend moving the RBS Battens matter from executive session to the action item E.
Okay, noted. Is there any public comment?
Yeah. Let me go check to make sure no one's in the lobby. I'm in the office right now. Yeah, thanks for that delay. There's no one standing outside or in the commission room, so no public comment from this end.
Okay. In that case, we'll go to the consent agenda. And Genevieve, you got corrections to show?
Yeah, let me share that. At the only correction is we were missing the action that took place after executive session. So that is this section here. If you'd like me to read it aloud, I can do that, or you can see it there on your screen.
I can see it and I can read it just fine.
That's fine.
It looks like I missed the second time change. That should be 7:05 there instead of 6:49, the timestamp. So I will correct that.
Hey, Jerry, just a quick question in regard to the minutes on the, when was it? October 6th. Should the verbiage be acting President Ben Shepherd or should it be Vice President Ben Shepherd? Because he can call the meeting to order. Is that the correct terminology? Acting President or Vice President?
Yeah, since he's Vice President, that probably would be the way to characterize his role, and the president wasn't there, so.
Right. Okay, thank you. So we should note that too, Genevieve.
Okay, I can make that correction as well.
Okay, then can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Commissioner, I'll make a motion to approve the agendas for October 6th and the 20th with the alterations we just identified and read out loud.
Chapman second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Correct, aye.
Chapman aye.
Everett, aye. Passes. Yeah, so informational reports, everybody's read them. Nobody wants to bring them down into discussion. Then the executive director report, Michael.
Excuse me. Yeah, this is fairly brief, and I guess I'll just say that you have my report, and if there are any questions, please ask.
No, I thought it was very thorough. Thank you for the update.
Me as well.
Yeah, that's good. Are we gonna talk about fall planning schedule next? Or is that part of his director's report, John?
I think that's part of the director's report. If you want to talk about the planning,
Yeah, real quick, in regard to the schedule for fall planning on the 10th, what does the commission feel about adding the discussion item under D, airport noise mitigation? And how about if we add an RFP for 2020 and talk about the FBO, the $20,000 that we allocate out for the FBO, of maybe revisiting that? Anybody got any input on that? Because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we do have proposed RFP going out this winter. Is that correct?
Yes, and part of that would be a relook at the subsidy.
Okay, so that's gonna be part of the fall planning. We'll be looking at that subsidy of $20,000.
No, that would be part of the RFP process, would be
Okay,
to look and see.
does anybody have a problem with fall planning to discuss that? Not great length, but maybe just discuss it, how we feel, if there's a different way or maybe a more lucrative way.
I don't know what it is, Hope. Or
Well,
Commissioner
we
Strike.
pay the FBO $20,000 a year to do the FBO.
Oh, all
And
right.
I just kind of like to have a discussion in fall planning before we do the RFP, to have a better understanding what we want from the FBO operator and how we can make it more lucrative for both parties, and maybe somehow we take some portion of this back, or fuel prices or something. But I just feel like we need to probably maybe look at it. And I think fall planning is the ideal place to do it, but it's up to the majority of the board.
I think that's an excellent idea, especially before going out for an RFP. So we have a very clear understanding of what we're asking for.
Yeah, we certainly want to hear from them about what they are.
And just if I may step in, the goal before we go out for any RFP would be to bring that to the board, because there's significant amounts of changes to the current FBO agreement that we've been sort of working on over the last couple of years that would need to be made before we go out for that RFP. So we're aware of a number of issues that need to be changed, and also to come in adherence with our new minimum standards. So I would anticipate that those changes in that RFP process would come before you, well before it goes out.
And are you saying there's probably no need to discuss it during fall planning?
No, there may be, but it will come to you for discussion at a later date also.
Okay, what I'm asking is just if we could just add it to the list for 15 minutes, maybe, and maybe not touch it at all, but just throw it out there.
From my standpoint, I think that's an excellent suggestion. That's a really good matter for discussion in fall planning.
Okay, and we'll add it
Okay.
under D.
Thank you.
So Jesse Dexter, there are no commissioner or committee reports. That moves us right into action items. Number A is approve the contract with Bulldog Welding.
John isn't here, so I'll take it for him. We need help from an outside welding firm to keep up on the bridge. Bulldog, we worked with for 2 years now. Excellent work. Our guys will be starting up here soon for 2 weeks of deck welding, and with this contract approval, Bulldog would be out there with one of our welding crews, and they're working the southbound lane from the lift span south to Oregon, and it really needs some repair work before winter, so it's an important effort to get going. So we'd recommend your approval.
Michael, I just have,
Go ahead.
sorry,
Go ahead.
Commissioner Steck. I just had one question, because I know the board has brought this up a few times of, we've worked with them in the past. We've had good relationships. I guess one of the things I wanted to make sure of, is this a company that is consistently staying within budget? Are they coming back for changes and modifications in their contract? I just want to make sure that we're working with people that are giving us numbers that accurately reflect the work that they're able to do, so we don't have so many change orders.
Yeah, this is a time and it's a not to exceed. And so we know their progress they've made, we know their hourly rates, and there's a target length to complete. So this contract would not exceed that. There wouldn't be any change orders. The only question is, are they, working hard? Are they making good progress? We do compare the hourly rates of Bulldog with other welding firms. It's a fairly specific weld protocol out there on the bridge. It's not, you need the right expertise of welders. We can, though, look at other, again, in the spring, at other hourly rates, other firms that could do the work and make sure we're getting best value. But for this work really needs to go soon. Did that answer your question, Commissioner?
Yes, thank you.
In that case, are we ready for a motion?
I think Hobie had
Sure,
something
I
he
will
wanted
make
to
a
say.
motion. That's okay. I read it here. I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Bulldog Welding and Bridge Deck Repair Welding, not to exceed 25,600.
Chapman second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Strike aye.
Chapman, aye.
Everett, aye, passes. B is approve the use agreement with Columbia Area Transit for ski resort shuttle parking.
I think the memo points out we've had an agreement with, in the past 2 or maybe 3 years with Mountain Meadows. This is really the same service with upgraded buses. The buses that CAT was able to obtain through a grant. But it's the same service. It's taking skiers up to the mountain. They park at the event site and they travel to the mountain and then return. It's used really half and half by locals that maybe drop their kids off down there, but also skiers from, say, the Portland area that drive out and they don't have to go all the way up and drive to the mountain. So there's a lot of benefits here, and we've increased the fee to $2,000 this year. They're comfortable with that. But this year they will be charging per trip, per skier. And in the past that was free. So they're still in the prove up model, but they're trying to develop a revenue source from riders. It hits a lot of targets for the port, and we would recommend your approval.
And Michael, just for clarification, with this happening at the event site, we are not charging days parking fees for people parking their cars there. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's a difficult one. The agreement is written to say that the port, this is a fee parking area, and that remains in effect throughout the use agreement term. The reality is we rarely enforce over the winter, but this agreement goes through April 4th, and you get into March and there's can be some good kiting weather and other users down there. So it's a tricky one because we've told pass users that they buy a pass, it's for the whole year. So staff recommends that we hold true to that commitment. But again, the reality is we would rarely enforce until we get into the March month.
Could we, because I want to be respectful of the people that bought passes, assuming that they were going to be annual, because I do know people that bought the pass for the winter aspect of it as well. Is there a way, those meters, you can kind of choose what they want? Because I worry that, I heard stories of people, they missed the bus and So I don't think that imposing an hourly rate down there is would be that appropriate, but maybe the port could implement a minimal day use fee if someone parked their car there.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent suggestion. Let me ask Genevieve, it's doable to reprogram those for a certain period.
Yeah, right now, the maximum is the $8 day rate. So once you put in the amount of hours equal to $8, then you're good for the day.
So we could reduce that, if I understand your suggestion, Commissioner, to say $4 or $5. It's still
Yeah.
a use, but it's not the full 8.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so it still gives the pass holders the benefit and
Right.
But it's not breaking the bank for someone to want to take a round trip bus ride up to Meadows for a total of $8 or $9.
But we'll talk about parking fees, parking passes, and parking policy likely at the 17th meeting. So it can be a separate action, but we can revise the cost sheet, the rate sheet to reflect that. And I think your point's really well taken, because someone that jumps on a bus and goes to Meadows isn't impacting the event site. They're not using the grass. They're not using the beach. They're not really using it anything to park their car. So
perhaps another way to look at it would be what we're really talking about is revenue sharing with the bus service. Maybe get the bus service to go to $6 instead of $5, and kick back to the port.
Yeah, but that doesn't give the perceived benefit to the pass holders. And so I want to be sensitive to that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And then I guess it boils down to a question of how programmable are the parking machines?
At the maximum, we need they have requested 14 days to implement a programming change, but it's never taken more than 3.
Michael, Genevieve, in the last 4 years, have you had any problems with availability of parking being too utilized for the Meadows and nothing for our our pass holders? Or is it
That's
an
never
ample
been-
amount?
Yeah, never been an issue. On high use days, I think you might get up to 40 to 50 cars maximum, and there's 170 or so.
And just from personal experience, I know that CAT bus is, or the Meadows bus is really used a lot for employees and kids, parents dropping their kids off and sending them up to go skiing. So, I think it's a great service.
Yeah.
And accommodating the parking probably wouldn't be hard because it's low volume.
I gotta agree with that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially under these conditions.
Okay, then can we just get a motion then to approve the use
Yeah.
agreement and take up parking?
I'll do a motion to authorize agreement with Columbia Area Transit for skier shuttle parking at the event site during the 2021 ski season.
Commissioner Strike will second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Chapman, aye.
Strike, aye.
Everett, aye. Passes. Item C is approve the amendment number 2 to contract with ODOT for consultation services related to bridge replacement.
Thank you. Just nothing has changed since the staff report, just a couple of adjustments from when this was first brought to you a couple of weeks ago. So we will be bringing back after the 45-day public comment period, another amendment once we actually have a better handle on what that scope will be. Keeping in mind that that's down the pike, I would recommend approval of amendment number 2.
Absent discussion, can I get a motion?
Yes, Commissioner, I'll go ahead and make a approve the amendment number 2 with permission due to the bridge project to legal counsel review.
Chapman second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Chapman, aye.
Strike aye.
Everett, aye. Passes.
Thank you.
Then D is to approve the amendment number 3, contract with Learner Computer Support.
So
Who's
what we
taking-
have here is it's sort of an annual, but in this case, it lasted more than 12 months, the previous renewal. And so the previous contract will probably end up, well, it's not to exceed, so probably will go through the end of this month in November. So I just renewed it for another 35,000. They'll probably go beyond 12 months, may like be this year, might go 17 months. So
Michael, Fred, is this something that we should talk in fall planning of future employment in-house? Is there a need that somebody can do multitasking, could be that IT person and be under the port's umbrella, or do you still feel a contractor is the way to go?
I think the
That's the
contractor is the way to go, just because there's so many different aspects to IT. It'd be hard to get someone that had all the capability of IT, was a programmer,
Okay.
was a database person, was
Okay.
client server. So it'd be difficult to get all that in one person.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
mean, Hobie, to put it into perspective, I know that our company, we have 2 employees, we have 8 computers. Granted, we have, lots of X-ray stuff and high stuff, and we pay not even half that a month. So knowing that the port system is so much more robust and has so many more working parts, I think that this isn't terrible.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll make a
So
motion to approve amendment. Oh, sorry.
No, go.
Make a motion to pen, addendum number 2 to contract learner computers support for information technology support not to exceed 35,000.
I think it's amendment number 3, Commissioner Strike.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Chapman,
Strike
aye.
aye.
Everett, aye. Passes. Item E is the RBS Battens lease.
Yeah, so RBS Batten's lease is expiring. The proposed new lease is a term of 5 years with 1 2-year renewal option. If you look at their base rent, due to coronavirus impact, you'll see that it's a stepped base rate, stepping up to very close to market September 2022. And then additions that are not in the lease template are section 5.1.2, COVID-19 pandemic base rent increases. So this just acknowledges that step I was talking about and the justification for it based on coronavirus impact. Additionally, section 10, which is lesser funded improvements. On that building, there's a number of north-facing windows that have been needing replacement for quite some time and have been in our budget, but we haven't been able to do that project. So this just calls that project out as something that we need to have completed by 2022, which is within our ability to do. And then the last change to the lease template is the Hood River Distillers Covenant, which is included in all of our waterfront leases, but is not standard for any off waterfront leases. Are there any questions?
And on your building exterior exhibit B, what's the red indicate on your
Sorry,
exhibit B?
I'll wait for Genevieve to go down there. Those are parking spaces, designated parking spaces.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I
So in the
couldn't
lease,
find it anywhere what it was.
yeah, no, that's okay. So in the lease, it designates those parking spaces and references Exhibit B.
Okay, thank you.
I'd just say it's really gratifying to see the lease strategy working out and hitting the targets and getting the separation of maintenance and cost of additional rent and base rent. It was a happy read to read this lease.
Yeah, good job, Ann.
Thank you.
Good job.
So with that, I motion to approve lease with Robichaud Batten Systems Incorporated for 11,371 square foot rentable feet at the Jensen Building.
Strike second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Chapman, aye.
Strike guy.
Everett, aye. Passes. That takes us to the commission call. Does any commissioner have an issue they'd like to bring up?
Commissioner Everett, Commissioner Strike, I'd like to just clarify and see how the board feels about the hangar development at the airport. I've always wanted to have a spreadsheet and a business plan that we do it ourselves plus the private sector. And I just want to make sure that everybody on the board is on the same board, we're on the same page, that do we all feel we want to have two proposals to us before?
I didn't understand the last.
Well, I want to make sure that we get two proposals to our development at the airport. One that we do it in-house and one that we do it with the private sector. I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Do you mean develop a budget in-house as though we were the general contractors?
That's correct. We do all the development ourselves and have a spreadsheet and a proposed business plan, and not just have one that, because we've always been told it won't pencil. Well, I want to have more than just somebody tell me it won't pencil. I want stuff in front of me detailed out. And I just want to make sure the other commissioners feel the same way, because I want to make sure it's a consensus and it's majority and everything else. But that's how I feel. I want to have two proposals in front of me to compare, in-house and public.
Commissioner Strike, can I clarify something there? Is that for the commercial hangar development or the box/T hangar development on the east side, both of which are going to be part of the fall planning discussion?
It would probably right now be probably more towards, well, to be honest with you, Ann, I'd like to have a proposal for both of them, to be honest with you, because due to the fact we're the landowner. That's just my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
As far as, and I'm just asking the other commissioners how they feel. I'm just one commissioner, so I want to make sure that it's a majority or a consensus, so we're not have no misunderstanding in the future.
Well, I'm trying to get my head wrapped around. That would mean we'd engage a general contractor or an architect. I mean, first we need a plan. That's an architect. Then we need an actual contractor to give us a bid on that plan, yeah? I mean, if we're going to be general contractors, we start developing our own stable of subs. I mean, or else how do you see it working, Hobie, I guess is what I'm asking. That we can create that.
Oh, I think he fell off.
There he is.
I can wait for him to get back on, but
Yeah, John, I couldn't hear any of your conversation. I'm back now.
You bet. Well, I was saying I'm
I
really.
put another quarter in.
Did you hear me or did you
What's
fall
that,
off?
John? Well, I put another quarter in my slot here, so I got another 25 cents worth of time. So
Okay. Should I go over the last thing I said or did you hear it?
No, I didn't hear nothing at all.
Okay. My question was how is it practically going to work in the sense that if we're going to become general contractors or become project managers our own selves, we need to develop a sub or a stable of subs in design and general contracting and
Well, I'm not even sure that we want to become a contractor. I want to see a proposal that we become the actual owner of and don't have the private sector. We build them and own them. And I want to have the sheet in front of me so I can look at the difference in comparison cost per foot of construction. We do it.
It's being difficult. You're breaking up.
I think I understand what Hobie's saying is that he just wants to see the difference if we're the, if Ann manages
We're
the
the owner.
project.
Well, I just want to make sure, I want to have a spreadsheet that shows me that we own it when we're all done. And it's not a private sector, their capital, they land lease from us. I want to see that comparison, but I also want to see us if we were the actual end user and owner.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood, Hobie. You're talking about an ownership model and cash flow projections from whether we're just getting money for the land or whether we're getting money while we take on the debt of building and also get the rents. For the
Exactly
building.
right.
Okay.
Perfect.
I can see that comparison easily.
I think it's always good to vet all options. So
Yeah, sure.
I agree.
But I think fall planning, we could just add that to the fall planning discussion since both of those are there on that agenda already.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Yep. And any other commission call items?
Happy election night, everyone.
If that's it, we're over. Thanks, everybody.
Good
Night.